everyone. This will be the lecture for the present continuous, or we sometimes call it the present progressive. Same thing. Let me make this a little bit larger so it's easier for you to see. I'm going to expand my screen a little bit. Okay, so we have just finished the simple present tense with the be verb and regular verbs. And so now we are going to do the second part of Chapter 1, which is the present continuous. So I will start out with the structure of the present continuous, just as I did with the simple present tense. So I'll give you a statement, and then we will do a yes/no question, and then a short answer, and a WH question. Oops. Which sometimes there might be several that we could do, and then a negative statement. So the first thing that the first statement that we have will be, he is working this afternoon. All right, so a lot of times the mistakes that students make, especially when they're writing, let me get my period in there. These are the mistakes that students most often make. When they're writing, they'll say, he working this afternoon, right? So they forgot the be verb, because with the present progressive, you have to use I am, you are, he is, she is, it is, we are, they are. So if you have ing, you must have the be verb here. And so this is a mistake, right? That's wrong. The other mistake that students very often make with the present progressive is they say, he is work today. So again, let me go down here. So here they have the be verb, which is good, but they forgot the ing, right? They forgot their ing. So that is also incorrect. And those are the two most common mistakes. So just remember, if you have ing, you must have the be verb. See right here, you've got the be verb and you've got your ing. That's very important with the present progressive. When we create a yes/no question with the present progressive, we take the be verb. So the present progressive, notice it has a regular verb, work, but it also has the be verb. And this is always true. We would say, I am working, you are working, she is working, we are working, they are working. Okay, so we always have the be verb in the present progressive. When we are asking a yes/no question with the present progressive, the be verb is your question word. So you will have is, let me get rid of that. Is he working this afternoon? So just like with the present progressive, you have to change the order of the words. So I am going to insert a line again. And there you go. All right, so the be verb moves up to the front to ask the yes-no question. And when we give a short answer, when we give a short answer, we have to answer with the same word, usually, as long as it's the be verb. It has to, you have to have subject-verb agreement. So yes, he is. Okay. All right. Then let me just give you a quick example. Let's say I ask a question. I'll go down here. Are you working today? Okay, so here you have the be verb asking the question. Well, you're going to say I, right? Because it's two people having a conversation. So, of course, you're not going to say yes, I are, right? Because the verb are does not go with I. You have to have agreement. So here is an example when, of course, the be verb changes because you cannot say yes, I are. You have to say yes, I am. But as long as it's the be verb, all right? Then here, of course, with a negative, no, he isn't. One thing you should also make sure of, remember that you cannot say yes, he's. You can't do that. When is or am or are is the last word in the sentence, you must spell it out, right? That is not correct. Okay. WH question. All right. So remember WH question words are who, what, why, when, and where. So we could pick, if I'm talking about the time here, I would ask a question with when. I gotta remember to go ahead. Okay. So just, computers. They're not my friend sometimes. Okay, so you have when. I'm asking about the time. So this is not going to be in the question because this is what I'm asking the question about. So basically with just like with the simple present tense, I could just copy this yes no question and paste it down here. When is he working? Question mark. So notice that the be verb comes right after the WH question word. So we would not say when he is working, all right? When he is working. That's wrong. You must change the order, right? When is he working? Okay, we could, there's lots of questions you could ask. You could say, where is he working? If you asked a question with what, you could say, what is he doing? You could also say that. What is he doing this afternoon? He is working. Okay. And a negative. Let me get down here to the negative. He is not working this afternoon. And of course you can contract it. He isn't working this afternoon. You can also, there's different ways you can contract with the negative. You could say, he's not working this afternoon. They are all okay. All right, so that is the structure of the present progressive, asking yes/no questions, short answer, WH, negative. All right. Okay. I will give you one more example. Okay, we'll do a plural one this time. We are going to a movie. Right. We are going to a movie. If I ask a yes/no question, here's your be verb. So that will come first. And remember, it's two or more people having a conversation. So I suppose you could say, are we going to a movie? Right? It is possible. Are we going to a movie or not? But probably, most of the time we would say, are you going to a movie? Right? Yes, we are. And let me insert a line again, just so you remember that be verb has to change order, right? And if I give a short answer, so let's see, the question, are we going to a movie? Are you going to a movie? The short answer would be the same. Yes, we are. No, we aren't. Notice that, I don't know if you noticed or not, but I always put a comma after yes and no. Right? I always put a comma after yes and no. So that's just a punctuation rule. And remember, again, you cannot say yes, we're, right? You can never do this. You can never do that. When the be verb is the last word in the sentence, you must pronounce it clearly and you must spell it out clearly. If I were to ask a WH question, I could say who. Now, notice this is plural. We. We are going to a movie. But when I ask a question with who, the verb is always singular. Because we don't know if it's one person or 10 people. We don't know when we're asking the question. So we always ask it's singular. Who is going to a movie? Right? You could say, what are we doing? What are we doing tonight? Okay. And then I just made a little note down here to kind of explain. Sometimes you can ask, when you have a WH question with who, you can say, sometimes you can ask a question with who with a plural verb, but it must be followed by a plural, we call it a predicate, but that you don't have to know the name. But just so you know, if there's a plural noun that comes after it, then the verb will be plural. Who are those people? If it was just one person, who is that person? Right? Because person is singular. So then the verb would be singular. Okay? All right, negative. We aren't going to a movie. All right, very good. All right, now we have to talk about the rules, right? Because every tense has rules when we use it. So what are the rules? This is basically, let me underline this. It's kind of a heading. Rules for present progressive versus the simple present. Okay, so how are they different? When do we use them? So with the present progressive, with the present progressive, something is happening right now. So it's like at the present moment. So we could say, for example, I am typing right now. You are looking at my screen. Right. And I could say at the moment. Okay. We also use the present, so you're probably very familiar with that rule, right? I'm talking, you are listening, he is sitting down right now. So that's a very simple rule for the present progressive. Another rule that we have for the present progressive is that we use it for around the time of speaking. Okay, so let me explain that because you might not understand completely. What it means is I'm not actually doing it right now. But, for example, every night I read a book before I go to bed, right? I'm not reading it right now, but let's say the book is 500 pages long. And right now I'm on page, let's say 223. So I'm not finished with the book. I'm in the middle of the book. And I'm not reading it right now. I'm teaching you right now, right? I'm doing a lesson on the present progressive. But I could say, oh, I'm reading the best book, right? I'm reading the best book. I'm not going to say right now. Right? So I'm not actually reading right now. But I read it last night. I'll read it tonight. And I'll read it again tomorrow. So that's why we say the rule is around the time of speaking. It's around the time. It was last night, tonight, tomorrow night. It's not exactly right now, but I'm in the middle of it. I'm not finished, so I'm reading the best book right now. I love it. Okay? We also use it for temporary situations. So what this means, the word temporary, let me get my number 3 in here. The word temporary means that that it's going to change, right? The situation is going to change. So a lot of times when we're talking about temporary situations, we use the expression these days. All right, so let me give you an example of a permanent situation. A permanent situation. I live in West Bloomfield. All right. Um, we moved here in 2006 and we have no plans to move. So we have lived here for, what is that, 15 years? 2006, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21, 15 years, about. All right. So, okay. So we have no plans to move. But if something is temporary, why is that? Okay, if something's temporary, then the situation is going to change soon. So, for example, I could say, I'm I'm living with my parents while I look for an apartment. Okay, I'm living with my parents while I look for an apartment. So, if the person is looking for an apartment, they have a plan to leave their parents' house. Okay, so this present progressive here means that it's temporary. The simple present means that it's permanent. All right. So, um, let's see. Let me just a quick review of rules for the simple present tense. Um, well, we use it for facts, truths, and habits. So, some examples. Winter is cold in Michigan. That's a fact, right? The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. That also is a fact. Babies cry when they are hungry. That could be a fact, but it's a truth, right? That's true all over the world. And I take a shower every morning. That is a habit. So notice that all of these are in the simple present tense, whether it's the be verb or a regular verb. When you have a fact or a truth or when you have a fact or a truth um, or a habit, those are always in the simple present tense. All right. So that, yeah. All right. So that is it for the present progressive lecture. And So if you have any questions about this, you can always email me through Canvas or shoot me a text if it's very urgent. Uh, so, okay, hope that's clear.